Buddhāvataṃsaka Sutra. Book 38. Detachment from the World. Video 13. Sometimes they manifest initial determination to benefit the world. Sometimes they manifest long-time practice, boundlessly extensive. Charity, morality, tolerance, energy, meditation, and wisdom, the four boundless minds, four integrative practices, and all such higher principles they may show carried to fulfillment, accepting them without false notions. Sometimes they manifest imminent Buddhahood, anointed and crowned by the enlightened. Sometimes they appear like listeners, or like the self-awakened. Everywhere in ultimate nirvana, still they do not give up enlightenment practice. They may appear as Indras, or as Brahma kings, sometimes surrounded by goddesses, sometimes alone and silent. Sometimes they appear as monks quietly taming their minds. Sometimes they appear as monarchs, ordering the laws of society. Sometimes they appear as artful women, sometimes as ascetics. They may appear to enjoy sensual pleasures or to enter meditations. Sometimes they appear newborn, sometimes young, old, or dying. Any who tried to conceive of this would be doubtful and go mad. Sometimes they appear in celestial palaces, sometimes they manifest spiritual descent. Sometimes they enter or abide in the womb, sometimes they are Buddhas preaching. Sometimes born, sometimes extinct, sometimes they appear to enter halls of learning. They may be with consorts, or apart from society practicing meditation. Sometimes they sit on the site of enlightenment and naturally realize true awakening. Sometimes they manifest active teaching, or they may appear as beginning seekers of truth. They may appear as embodiments of Buddha, sitting at peace in infinite lands. Or they may be cultivating the non-regressive path, accumulating means of enlightenment. They penetrate countless ages and reach the other shore of them all. Infinite ages, a single moment of thought, a single moment of thought, infinite ages. All ages are not ages, but they show them as ages to the world. There is no advent and no accumulation, yet they accomplish the tasks of the ages. In a single atom they see all Buddhas in all places everywhere, there being nowhere there is no Buddha. Lands, beings, phenomena, they see them all, in order, through incalculable ages, ultimately inexhaustible. Enlightening beings know the number of living beings is vast beyond bound. All those creatures' bodies arise from measureless causal relations. As they know one is infinite, so indeed are all. According to their competence, they teach the uninstructed. They know the faculties of sentient beings, superior, middling, inferior, are not the same. They also know faculties change, and which can be taught and which cannot, and that one faculty and all faculties are mutually interrelated, and their subtle individual differences, and their precise order. They also know the mental behavior of beings past, present, and future, their inclinations and understandings, all their vexing habits. They realize all actions have no coming or going. Once they know people's behavior, they tell them the unexcelled teaching. They know thoroughly all kinds of defiled and pure conduct. In an instant becoming enlightened, they accomplish omniscience. Dwelling in Buddha's inconceivable mind of ultimate knowledge, instantly they are able to know the actions of all beings. having mastered the functional power of enlightening beings' spiritual knowledge, they can in a single moment travel to boundless lands. Going swiftly like this throughout endless ages, there is nowhere they do not reach, yet without stirring a hair. Just as a skilled magician makes all kinds of forms appear, yet one finds in those illusions neither form nor non-form, likewise do enlightening beings use the magic of knowledge of means to manifest various forms throughout the world. As the clear sun and moon, bright mirrors in the sky, reflect in myriad waters without being mixed up by the waters, likewise, you should know, enlightening beings' wheel of truth appears in the water of minds in the world without being mixed up by the world. Just as a man in a dream makes all kinds of things and may go on for millennia without one night ending, enlightening beings dwelling in the essence of reality reveal all phenomena, and while countless eons may end, their instantaneous knowledge is endless. As in mountain canyons and in palatial halls all sounds are echoed without discrimination, enlightening beings dwelling in the essence of reality can, with autonomous knowledge, widely utter words adapted to types, also without discrimination. As one seeing a mirage and thinking it is water chases it but finds no drink and becomes even thirstier, so too is the case of sentient beings' afflicted minds. Enlightening beings take pity on them, rescue them and free them. Seeing form as like clustered foam, sensations as like bubbles on water, conceptions as like heat waves, dispositions as like the pith of a plant and tree, and consciousness as like magic manifesting various things. Thus knowing the clusters as such, the wise have no attachments. The mediums of sense are all empty and silent, yet turn like the cogs of a machine. The elements are in essence unconnected, yet fabricate the appearance of the world. Enlightening beings abide in real truth, the supreme truth of voidness. They teach widely in many ways, yet their minds do not dwell on anything. There is no coming and no going, and also no remaining, yet afflictive actions, the cause of suffering, continue to flow and develop. That which is interdependently originated is neither existent nor non-existent, not real or false. Thus do enlightening beings enter the middle way and teach it without attachment. They are able in an instant to manifest the minds of past, present, and future, and all the various phenomena of the realms of desire, form, and formlessness. Following the three modes of conduct, they expound the three liberations, define the paths of the three vehicles, and accomplish omniscience. They comprehend what is so and what is not, all actions and all faculties, realms, understandings, meditations, where all paths lead, recollection of past lives, clairvoyance, and annihilating all delusion. They know the 10 powers of Buddhas, but cannot yet fully achieve them. They realize all things are void, yet always seek the sublime teaching. They are not mixed up in afflictions, yet still do not annihilate contamination. With extensive knowledge of ways of emancipation they liberate sentient beings. In this they attain fearlessness and do not give up cultivating their practices. Unerring, not deviating from the path, they do not lose right mindfulness. Their vigor, determination, concentration, and meditative wisdom are undiminishing. Pure in conduct, meditation, and altruism, they clearly understand all times. With great compassion for sentient beings, they are totally unimpeded. By entering these gates of truth they accomplish such practices. I now tell a little of the sense of their arrays of virtue. Even if one told of their practices for countless eons, one would never exhaust them. Now I tell a little bit, like a mote of dust of the earth. Resting on Buddha knowledge, they generate extraordinary thoughts, cultivate the best of actions, and embody great benevolence and compassion. Heroically striving, inwardly at peace, they teach and enlighten conscious beings. Abiding by pure precepts, they fulfill practices leading to enlightenment. Able to comprehend Buddha's virtues, sentient beings, actions, and lands, they also know all ages with never a thought of weariness. With total command of differentiating knowledge, they arrive at the meaning of truth. They contemplate and explain the incomparable, peaceful, and calm true awareness. They generate the mind of universal good and cultivate the actions and vows. With the causal power of compassion, they proceed on the path pure in mind. Practicing the transcendent ways, they perfect conscious knowledge. Realizing power and freedom, they attain unexcelled enlightenment. Achieving impartial knowledge, they expound the supreme truth. Able to preserve it, endowed with sublime intelligence, they arrive at the position of the supreme teacher. Avoiding all attachments, they expound impartiality of mind. Generating knowledge and wisdom, they produce miracles and attain enlightenment. Preserving the truth through all ages, the knowers are most joyful. Deeply penetrating it and relying on it, they have no fear or confusion. They realize the inconceivable, unravel artful mysteries. They skillfully enter concentrations and see all spheres of knowledge. Consummating the liberations, they exercise spiritual insights. Forever free from veils and bonds, they roam freely in gardens and groves. Virtuous ways are their mansions, all their deeds are admirable. They cause boundless adornments to appear, their minds unmoved by the world. Observing well, profoundly intent, they can elucidate with wonderful eloquence the pure marks of enlightenment, the light of knowledge illumining all. Their dwelling place is peerless, their minds are indomitable. Their will is like a high mountain, their virtues like a deep ocean. They rest in truth like treasure, wear the armor of vows, undertake great works, ultimately invulnerable. They gain the destiny of enlightenment, and are steadily broad-minded. Their hidden resources are inexhaustible, they awaken to all truths. Masters of worldly knowledge, they function subtly, without obstruction, sentient beings, all lands, and all kinds of phenomena, embodiments, vows, and realms, knowledge, spiritual capacities, and so on, they manifest in the world, countless hundreds of billions. Their spiritual powers and states are free, none can inhibit them. They are adorned with all works of powers, fearlessnesses, and unique Buddha qualities. Their bodies and physical deeds, their words and purified speech, are under protection, so they can accomplish 10 things. When enlightening beings are first inspired and when their minds pervade all, their senses are undistracted and they attain higher faculties. With profound minds, overmastering minds, they get away from deception. With various sure understandings, they thoroughly penetrate the world. Abandoning afflictive habits, they take to the supreme path. Skillfully practicing it, they fulfill it and arrive at omniscience. Avoiding regression, they enter the Absolute and certainly realize silent extinction. Generating the path of enlightening teaching, they embody epithets of virtue. The paths of infinity, up to the paths of adornment successively they go by these without attachment to any hands, feet, and guts, with hearts of adamant, wearing the armor of sympathy, equipped with many weapons, heads of knowledge, eyes of understanding, deeds of enlightenment their ears, pure conduct their noses, they destroy darkness, unhindered. Intelligence is their tongue, their bodies are omnipresent. Higher knowledge is their mind, they cultivate their practices in action and repose. They walk on the site of enlightenment, sit on the lion throne, recline in universal goodwill, compassion, joy, and equanimity, and rest in emptiness. Their spheres of action and contemplation illumine the realm of enlightenment. Observing the acts of sentient beings, they spring forth and roar. Free from greed, they practice pure giving. Abandoning conceit, they preserve pure conduct. Never angered, always tolerant, not lazy, always vigorous, mastering meditation, wisdom uncontrived, kindly saving, tirelessly compassionate, they take joy in truth and abandon afflictions. In all realms they know meanings and principles. Their virtues are fully developed, their wisdom is like a sharp sword. Fully aware, they delight in learning and clearly understand how to proceed. They know demons and their ways and vow to get rid of them all. Seeing Buddhas and Buddha works, they determine to embody them all. Free from pride, they cultivate knowledge, not taken in by the power of demons. They are supported by the Buddhas and also sustained by truth. They appear to live in a happy heaven and also appear to die there. They appear to abide in the mother's womb and also show subtle processes. They appear to be born and smile, and appear to walk 7 steps. They demonstrate study of arts and learning in the palace. They leave home and practice austerities, go to the site of enlightenment, sit straight and radiate light, alerting living beings. Conquering demons, they attain true enlightenment and turn the wheel of the unexcelled teaching. When their manifestations are done, they enter great extinction. Those practices of enlightening beings are cultivated over measureless eons. They are boundlessly extensive, and I now tell but a little. Though they enable numberless beings to become established in enlightened virtues, they ultimately grasp nothing of sentient beings and religious principles. Imbued with such conduct, they freely exercise spiritual capacities. They place myriad lands on a hairtip and for trillions of eons, holding innumerable lands in their palms, go everywhere, without fatigue, then return and place them in their former locations, unbeknownst to the beings therein. Enlightening beings place all lands, variously arrayed, in a single pour and show them as they really are. Also in one pour they contain all oceans without increase or decrease in the oceans and without injuring sentient beings. Numberless iron mountains they pick up and crush to dust, place each mote in one land, using up every particle, then take that number of lands and reduce them to particles too. The number of these particles might be known, but the knowledge of enlightening beings cannot be measured. Through one pore they radiate infinite light beams. The lights of sun, moon, and stars, of jewels and fire, and the lights of the gods are all eclipsed thereby. Annihilating the pains of miserable states, they teach beings there the unexcelled way. The various different kinds of speech of all worldly creatures enlightening beings can utter in one language. They can explain distinctly with certainty all the Buddha teachings, causing the living who hear it to all be very joyful. All the ages of the past they place in future and present. The ages of future and present they place far in the past. They show infinite lands burning, becoming, and subsisting, all the various worlds being in a single pour. All Buddhas of the 10 directions, past, future, and present, they clearly reveal in their own bodies. They know the methods of transfiguration and skillfully adapt to beings' minds. They manifest various bodies without attachment to any of them. They may manifest the bodies of all sentient beings in the 6 states of existence, or the bodies of Brahma, Indra, or world guardians, or the bodies of all other celestial beings, the bodies of listeners or individual illuminates, or the bodies of realized Buddhas, or they may appear as enlightening beings cultivating omniscience. They skillfully penetrate the web of beings' thoughts, weak, middling, and superior, and show the attainment of enlightenment, and the lands of Buddhas. They comprehend the web of thoughts and gain mastery of thought. They show all the expedients of enlightening practices. Far-ranging spiritual displays such as these they show. Such realms of experience no worldlings can know. Though they produce manifestations, nothing is manifested. Ultimately this is supreme. They adapt to beings' minds to get them to travel the way of truth. Their bodies, speech, and minds are equanimous as space. Pure conduct is their perfume, myriad practices are their clothes. With the turban of truth, the top knot of purity, the jewel of omniscience, their virtues are all pervasive, and they are crowned as sovereigns. The transcendent ways are their weapons, spiritual capacities their elephants, psychic travel their horses, wisdom their bright jewels. Sublime deeds are their consorts, the 4 means of integration their treasures. Skill in means are their generals, enlightening beings are the rulers. Concentration is their citadel, empty silence is their palace. With the armor of benevolence, the sword of wisdom, the bow of mindfulness, the arrows of insight, they spread the canopy of spiritual power on high and raised the banner of knowledge. Their forbearance immutable, they break right through the devil's troops. Mental command is the level ground, spiritual practices are the rivers, pure knowledge the wellsprings, sublime wisdom the forests, emptiness the clear lakes, the branches of enlightenment lotus blossoms. They adorn themselves with spiritual powers, always enjoying concentration. Meditation is their consort, nirvana is their food, the taste of liberation their drink. They freely employ the 3 vehicles. These practices of enlightening beings subtly develop further as they cultivate them tirelessly over measureless ages. They honor all Buddhas, purify all lands, and cause all sentient beings to abide in omniscience. Even if the number of atoms in all lands could be known, and all realms of space could be measured with a grain of sand, and every thought in the minds of all sentient beings could be counted, still the virtues of enlightening beings could not be fully told. If you want to be endowed with these virtues and higher subtle qualities, and wish to enable living beings to be free from suffering and always peaceful and happy, and wish to make body, speech, and mind all equal to those of the Buddhas, you should make an adamant resolution to learn these virtuous qualities. The end of Book 38.